Policy Context menu. At the foot of the policy screens, the following control buttons are displayed. You can invoke the Policy Context menu by clicking on Menu, Alt-M. This context menu will display. These menu items are mostly self-explanatory. Here is a brief description. E. Exit. Exit from the context menu. A. Take on a policy. Take on a new policy for this same client. B. Take on quote. Take on a quotation for this same client. C. Schedule font. Select a font for the policy schedule. This screen displays. Select a font and font size for a printed schedule from the drop-down list. D. New claim. Enter a new claim for this client. Refer to user guide for claims processing. F. Claims search. Search for a claim for this client. G. Allocate, unallocated. Allocate an unallocated balance on a client account to debit notes. Refer to accounts user guide. H. Generate future details. This powerful feature of Flexibroker creates a future version of this existing policy. This is essentially for renewal purposes. The future version can be worked on while the existing policy remains in force for the processing of current endorsements, etc. Various values can be updated as shown in the tick boxes of the Future Policies screen. I. Status. View, change, delete, or cancel. It is possible to change the status of a Flexibroker policy in accordance with the following screen. Policy status can either be active or inactive. Please note that a policy cannot be deleted once financial entries have been raised on that policy. To change status, select the new status of the policy, active or inactive. Select a reason from the drop-down list. This list is amendable as you go. Then add an explanatory comment. If a policy is made inactive, no endorsements or debits can be raised against the policy. Claims can be processed, but a policy inactive warning will be shown. J. View transactions. This will display a summary of financial transactions related to the policy. The following information is displayed, and the transaction can be viewed in detail. K. Print letters. This invokes the letter printing process for this policy. Functionality is as for client letters. M. View snapshots. The snapshot process, automatic within Flexibroker, is an important feature concerning the history of activities for a policy. Whenever a debit note is raised, which is different from the immediate prior debit note, Flexibroker will save a copy of the new policy schedule in its printed format. These copies, or snapshots, are saved in PDF format to ensure that their contents cannot easily be changed for irregular purposes. N. Raise endorsement debits. In the event that endorsements have been entered on this policy record but financial entries, debit notes, have not been raised, an option within Flexibroker, this context menu item will become available. Invoking this option will raise the outstanding debits. If there are no outstanding endorsement debits, the option will be grayed out. O. Raise debit. If the policy has been activated but the debit note has not yet been raised, use this option to raise the debit note. If a monthly policy, this warning will be shown. Select Yes to continue, No to cancel the process. If you wish to proceed, select from the following options. Exit without raising a debit will result in a warning message that no debit has been raised. P. View text changes. Refer to support consultant. Q. Copy policy. The following screen displays. There are several reasons why a policy may be copied. Cancel and reissue. A similar policy is required for each of the members of a sectional title estate. Select the new client, can be the same client, set the status, inactive if more underwriting work is to be done on the new policy. Enter a reason, maintainable field. Click on Copy or Alt-C. A new policy with the same risk details as the original will be created. None of the financials or history will be copied, as a brand new policy will be created with its own client and internal reference, etc. Special functions for sections. Replace. This function will replace one section of the same class structure with another, as well as retain the existing risks. Sections with fees, situations, and data fields cannot be replaced. Combine. This function is applicable to text-only sections. It will allow you to add the text of the selected section to the section above and will then automatically remove the section from the schedule.